recommended in terms of the Gyan Sangam outcome. They have recommended that there should be an expert committee which should be formed, which should consider consolidation of PSU banks going forward. Remember that right now there's no concrete proposal of it. It is just an expert committee. Whether or not the Bank Bureau Board, which was announced with Vinod Rai as the head, will possibly take that forward, we don't know as of now. It's just a recommendation by the bankers. Secondly, there was some amount of information that maybe there could be some changes coming into the SARFAESI Act. That is something that was recommended, and even possibly the debt DRT, or the Debt Recovery Tribunal, in order to make it much faster, make it much quicker, or expedite recovery with regards to the Debt Recovery Tribunal. So yes, a lot of information from the Gyan Sangam. Let's see whether this actually turns into something concrete going forward, especially on consolidation. We will possibly see smaller PSU banks more active on Tuesday's trading session, just in anticipation that maybe the government will be more serious about the consolidation strategy of PSU banks going forward. In fact, we have Parag Jariwala of Religare Capital Markets joining in to talk to us. Parag, this is something that you were looking out for quite keenly. A lot of substance. Were you happy with it, or do you think that there needs to be some concrete action now?
See, I think I've seen the press conference just now. I think what Mr. Finance Minister and Deputy Finance Minister has said, a lot of statements were like qualitative, rather than there was no concrete action plan has been announced so far as the consolidation of banks are concerned, or the way in which ESOPs will be given to the bankers or the top officials, etc. So it was more like of a qualitative statement. I was expecting that there would be some concrete announcement, but that hasn't happened.
Okay. What was the biggest highlight according to you in terms of the qualitative information? Though qualitative at this point, what was the most important statement? Was it on consolidation? Was it on, like you mentioned, maybe some asset quality, etc.?
See, I think two things. One is on ESOPs, that top management needs to be given some ESOPs so that they are more interested in in probably turning around the bank, etc. That I think is positive. Secondly, banks have also suggested some of the amendments to SARFAESI Act. Banks are the one who is recovering the money. So if they are facing some difficulty because of some loophole in the SARFAESI Act, that needs to be addressed, which is again positive. So and of course for consolidation they are considering an expert group, etc. So all of them are positive. There is nothing negative as such from the conference, but I was expecting some bit of timeline or some bit of real concrete qualitative and quantitative announcement, which hasn't happened.
Okay, so maybe the lack of quantitative information from this Gyan Sangam too is possibly the biggest negative which has come out, rather than any sort of concrete negative which has come out. Parag, just hold that thought. We also have Hemendra Hazari joining in to give us his takeaway with regards to what's happened in the banking space in the past couple of weeks, you'd have to say. One, the Bank Bureau Board, which was announced on 28th of Feb, which was one day before the budget. 29th of Feb, that was the budget. We heard bank recap being maintained at 25,000 crores, but the government stepping in as and when required. That's what they mentioned. Plus, now we have the Gyan Sangam, so maybe we could expect some changes in the coming months on SARFAESI, DRT, ESOPs for employees, as well as possibly some more concrete information on consolidation of banks. As a whole, do you think that, and we all obviously had the AQR, which took place in Q3 of FY16, do you think that this year, which is FY17, could see some improvement in the health of banks?
Well, I wish so, because see, I agree that what government is doing in terms of cleaning up the systems and etc. is extremely good. I don't think so any other government in the past have taken such a bold step. So both, I'm very happy in the way in which government and RBI both are, making public sector bank coming back on their foot. So that's very, very good. But see, I think, this AQR and the asset quality problems, low growth, margin compression should, I think, even continue in FY17, because currently the economy is weak, cyclical sectors are under pressure. So, see, you may see that FY17 could be a slightly better year than FY16, Yes, but do I think that FY17 would show up a tremendous recovery? I would be doubtful.
Okay. What about valuations? Currently, SBI is inched back to around 1 times FY17 price to book value, and that took place because of the 18 to 90%, 19% rally that we saw last week. But your sense in terms of valuations, where do you think it'll possibly be capped in the near term?
I think most of the rally has been done with, at least so far as the PSUs are concerned. So most of the PSUs are up 20-25% from the bottom. And if the fourth quarter is going to be as disastrous as third quarter for asset quality, there is no growth. Growth is sub 10%. Margin compression will make your operating profit growth at probably 7-8%. So I think stock adjusted for NPAs and restructured book, if they are trading currently at 1.5, 1.7 times price to book, I think we are there. I don't see stock moving higher from here onwards.
Okay, and what would your overall 1 point takeaway be from what we heard from the Gyan Sangam today, Parag, before we let you go?
See, my takeaway is that I was expecting something more, but it hasn't happened.
Okay, all right. More qualitative than quantitative is what Parag has mentioned from Religare Capital Markets. Thanks, Parag, for joining in and taking us through what your sense was of the Gyan Sangam. But Parag, so tell us your sense in terms of whether you do see any of the smaller banks rise in Tuesday's trading session on anticipation, and which ones do you think are possibly the biggest candidates to be consolidated with their bigger peers?
See, I think if you look at smaller bank, I don't think smaller banks needs to be seen by the size, not by the market cap. So I don't think that Indian Overseas Bank or OBCR, they are still pretty large banks. So if you have to merge, then somebody like UCO, Dena, you have Allahabad, Andhra Bank, etc. They can possibly, or United Bank of India or Bank of Maharashtra. Some candidate like this who has much of the regional presence can be considered for merger, etc. But I kind of agree with Hemant, because see, a lot of energy, a lot of time, and a lot of efforts are being put towards the consolidation of banks. Because just imagine a situation, when Kotak has taken over ING, they have put in so much of effort when both the banks were a private sector bank. A lot of a lot of things were already in place, etc. So just imagine a situation if tomorrow Punjab National Bank has to take over somebody like Andhra Bank, a lot of cultural issues, so many things. So I think, though positive for smaller banks, you may see some of them, going up a bit. But since there is no concrete announcement being done today, I think it would be a very short rally, or perhaps stock may remain range bound for a couple of days.
Okay, so you're saying that it's easier said than done in terms of PSU consolidation. Parag, that's a fair point. But when you are considering, say, changes in the Sarfezi Act, what are the kind of changes that you think would be envisaged or would be wanted by bankers, including for the DRT or the Debt Recovery Tribunal?
Yeah, so, the current state in which the DRTs are performing is very disturbing. I mean, you don't. So, I heard Mr. Deputy Finance Minister making a statement that DRTs will be computerized. I mean, today's world, if your Debt Recovery Tribunal don't have computer and information technology, it's very disturbing, right? And most of the DRTs takes around 3.5 years on an average. So when I say average, it's purely an average. Some of the older cases may take 6 years, 7 years to recover. And in that situation, it becomes very difficult for a bank. So, you need so many amendments, like, giving some powers to banks, which, promoters keep, getting stay orders for unwanted reasons. So all those amendments are necessary. And if it has been done, it is very good for the sector.
Okay.